All right, good morning everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga. And this month, the month of April, we're focusing on finding strength. And today we're really going to focus on strengthening our core. And so that is the most external layer of our abdominal muscles, which would be our rectus abdominis. We are going to do our internal and external obliques, and that deep layer of muscle called the transverse abdominis. We're also going to be really strengthening the spinal extensors all the way down the back. I have a chair today just in case you need to take a couple of modifications, especially with the balance movement. And I'm going to show you a nice progression of some of the movements where we can take it at a more basic level and gradually advance it up to make it more intense depending on where you are today in your practice. I also have a yoga block, a strap, and a blanket as usual for props that you might need to make yourself a little bit more comfortable. So we're starting standing today and come into mountain pose. And as always with yoga, you can choose whether your feet are tight together or separated about hips distance apart. And then really elongate your spine. It's said that we are at our tallest at the beginning of the day when all of our discs are nice and full and our spine is not compressed. So take advantage of that and really lengthen all the way up through the crown of your head. You can close your eyes for a moment and just check in with your body and see how you are feeling today. I think that there's a phrase that is oftentimes overused, and I think that I am also overusing it to some degree, and that phrase is listen to your body. You know, we say that a lot. Listen to your body, do what feels best for you. But I really want you to open your eyes, your ears, and your internal awareness to how you're feeling today, and listen and watch for those signs in exercises where you might need to modify, where you might feel some discomfort or pain, and really honor your body today and do what is best for you in your practice. So let's start by warming up the shoulders with a backward circle. Sweep the arms behind you, reach up, and then as they come forward, sink into a chair pose. As you rise, circle back behind, up, and sink. So this circle for you today might be smaller if you're feeling any pain in your shoulders. And we're just starting, so we don't need to really crank it back and go through an excessive range of motion. What we want to do here is to start to release some synovial fluid into the joint capsule of our shoulder. It's like taking, in the Wizard of Oz, it's like taking the oil can and squirting a little bit of a lubrication into those joints so that they move better. And we're not hearing a lot of squeakiness or crunching as we're doing our poses today. Let's do one more with this backward circle. And then as we reverse, we sit up, the arms come up, open, around, and sweep forward into chair. And start to begin to notice how your knees feel, and your hips, and your ankles. So we have quite a few joints in our body moving through this warm-up. And we have the breath linking the body and our vinyasa, or flow of yoga poses. And then connect with your abdominals. So as you come up, make sure you're not letting go. Keep the core braced. And one more. And then come back up to your mountain pose and just check in, see how everything's feeling here. Shoulders, back, knees, hips, and ankles. Then we'll start to move into some rotation of the spine. So separate your feet out wider. Sink down into a little goddess squat and bring your arms slightly up to goal post. We'll circle or spin the spine to the right, look over the right shoulder, come back to center, and to the left. So the reason I'm doing this in a little bit of a wide squat is it's easier for you not to move your pelvis. So sometimes when we twist when we're standing up, the rest of our body goes along with the twist. We get our knees involved, our ankles involved. And I want everything from your pelvis down to be really locked into the earth. If it bothers you to keep your arms up, you don't need to do that. You can bring hands across your chest because it's all about the spine here. Let's take 2 more each direction. And place the exhalation on the twist and the inhalation back to center. 1 more each side. Beautiful. Back to center, press the palms together and slightly curve your back so you're pulling your belly in like you're doing a standing cat stretch. And then open out, straighten your legs, a baby back bend, spinal extension. So we are going to be doing these movements with our spine quite a bit today. So if you do this standing, you'll have a chance to check in and see how it feels for your back to actually come into a little bit of a back bend today. And then to use your core to tuck your tailbone under and to come into that trunk flexion. With the breath, 2 more. Open and round. 1 more. And round. Open out, hold, and then lower the arms down. We'll take the right arm out, sweep it open, and then bring it across your body just 3 times. Inhale, open. Exhale, across. 1 more, open. Bring it across, and then loop your elbow, the other hand here to hold this stretch. Now, if that doesn't feel okay for you, you can use your hand as well. And let's try to straighten this right arm to stretch that deltoid. You can soften your knees, come down into your squat if you'd like. Little gentle release through the upper back. And we'll take a neck circle. So drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. Circle the chin down to the chest. Left ear, left shoulder. And back to center. Now reverse that. Left ear, left shoulder. Chin down to chest. Right ear, right shoulder. And come up. Straighten those legs. Sweep that right arm back out. And bring it behind your back 3 times. So I have the back of my hand facing my lower back. And 2. And 1. Hold it behind your back, and you can take this left hand, grab a hold of your wrist, pull that arm across. You can bend your knees if you'd like, sink into a little bit of leg work, and take that neck circle. Right ear, chin to chest, left ear, and center, reversing. Left ear, chin to chest, right ear, and back up. Good. Release that arm. Sweep it above the head. Side stretch. 3 times. 2. And 1. Now bend this elbow. Reach up with the other arm. Give yourself a nice little pull. And we are going to rotate our head up to the ceiling and down towards the left big toe. 2 more. Rotate up, rotate down. Abs are in. 1 more. And bring your head back to neutral. The spine comes up to neutral and relax those arms. Good. Left arm sweep out and across. Inhale, open. Exhale, across. 1 more. Come across, hold, and loop that elbow crease. Or take it with your hand here and straighten that arm as much as you can. You can sink down into your legs. Left ear to the left shoulder. Chin to chest. Right ear. and neutral. Reverse, right ear. Roll down. Left ear and up. Good. Rise up, open that arm out. Turn your palm to face behind you and sweep the arm behind your back. 3 and 2 and hold. Option to grab that wrist with your right hand. Give yourself a little pull over. We can sink into the knees. Left ear. Chin to chest. Right ear. And neutral. Reverse. Just release any muscular tension you have in your neck, shoulders, and upper traps. Good. Come back up. Release that arm. Sweep over. 1. And up. And 2. Hold on. 3. Nice side stretch. Bend the elbow. Grab hold. Give yourself a nice little pull. And rotate to look up. Rotate to look down. 2 more. Feel your feet nice and grounded into the floor. Abdominals are braced for your balance here. 1 more time. And then head comes back to neutral. Spine comes back up. Release that arm. And then lower down. Nice sunflower. Sweep up. Hinge from the hips. Reach down. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more. Just to let those shoulders go. And 2. 1 more. Reach up, hold. Clasp the hands, turn the palms up, stretch. If you can, pull your arms behind your ears a little bit, but engage your abs so you're not arching your back. 1 more breath. And exhale, release it down. Very nice. Okay, coming down onto your hands and knees. If you need knee padding, you can bring your little blanket or cushion underneath your knees. And we're just going to start to strengthen the front and back of the core with spinal balance. So fingertips come to the mat without a lot of weight into your wrists. Reach the right arm forward, the left leg back. Now on an inhale, slightly extend through your spine. I don't want a big back bend here, but just a little bit of spinal extension. And on the exhale, curve your back up like cat and bring your elbow towards your knee. And this is where I want you to feel your abs really firing. Now with the breath, inhale, exhale. Really lengthen that leg behind you. You can flex through the heel, press energy out through the bottom of your foot. 2 more. One more. And reach out, hold. Stabilize, feel your core engaged. And then lower the hand and the knee back to the mat. Left arm reaches. Right leg extends behind. Take a big inhale, a slight back bend. Exhale, curve your spine up, especially in that lower back. As we're reversing the usual curve of our lumbar spine, so really tuck your tailbone. Draw your abs in. Exhale fully so you have the room to bring that knee in towards the elbow. 2 more. One more time. Reach out and hold. And then lower the hand and the knee. We'll tuck the toes under, lift the hips, come into a nice downward facing dog, and just pedal out your feet. Find a little stretch in the back of the legs. And notice how your wrists are feeling today, being in your downward facing dog. And how the hamstrings feel here, the low back, and how the shoulders feel to support your body in this pose. Let's take one more on each side. And then both heels press down. And stay here in your down dog, nice and still, 3 breaths. Expand through the back side of the body as you breathe. Through the sides of the ribs. One more breath. And then we'll walk our feet or take a couple steps or jump to come up to forward bend. Relax through your head. Soften your knees and roll your spine up, pulling the belly in. Come all the way to mountain pose. So I have the next level of our spinal balance with the abdominal work. So I have my chair in front of me. You can also use the wall for a little balance, or you can come back to your knees. So we'll bring our fingertips down to the chair to find a nice flat tabletop position. Right arm lifts forward, left leg comes back. So now we're in a standing spinal balance. And I want your shoulders and your hips to be really stable. Try not to roll this left hip up, so keep it pressed down towards the floor. Now on an inhalation, the arm and the leg rise just a little bit, and as you exhale, round your spine, pull your elbow in towards your knee. Now my standing knee is bent a little bit. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, curve the spine, come in. So this is the same movement we did before, but instead of being on our right knee, we're up on the foot. So we're adding a little bit more stabilization and balance and work into that right quadricep and glute. One more repetition. And then reach out long, hold. Maybe you can briefly let go of the chair if you'd like. We're in Warrior 3. Couple of breaths. Neutral head position. And then that right hand finds the chair, left foot finds the floor. Rise all the way up into extended mountain pose. And press the palms together into our namaste. All right, let's try the other side. I don't know about you, but I really felt my heart rate come up a little bit more intensity in this movement. So hands come down to the chair. This time the left arm comes forward, the right leg goes back. And first, get your alignment in place. Level hips, level shoulders, energy into that back heel. Then as you inhale, slightly lift the arm and the leg. Exhale, round the back into that cat. Elbow and knee come together. Now it's okay to go back down to your hands and knees. It's a beautiful pose to work through from a kneeling position. So feel free to go back there if this is feeling a little bit too intense for you. But I like this extra little bit of balance and work in the standing leg. And you're only using the chair as much as you need to help you balance here. 2 more. Curve the spine, retract the abdominals. 1 more. Nice flowing pace. And then reach out the arm and the leg, hold. And maybe today you can take that hand off the chair and balance into Warrior 3. Just a couple breaths. Nice and strong and supported with a strong core. Left hand comes down, right leg comes down. Come all the way up, extended mountain stretch. Press the palms together thumbs at your heart. Okay, as they say, good things come in threes, right? So we have another option. But you have these two to come back to, either on your knees or using your chair. So our most intense version is downward dog, three-legged dog to our plank pose. So if we'll come up into a nice big inhale, exhale, forward fold, walk your hands out towards the top of your mat, come back into your downward facing dog. Now we're not going to lift a hand off the floor with this one, so it's a little bit different, but we'll take the right leg and extend it up. And then as you exhale, draw your knee in towards your nose and come forward into a plank. So there's your cat position. Inhale, send the leg up. Exhale, curve the spine, bring the knee in. 3 more repetitions for 5. And it's very easy to drop down to your knee here and go back to version number 1. 2 more. 1 more. Curve, curve, curve the spine. Exhale. Then reach up and hold. Now lift that leg as high as you can. You can hold here as you are. Or bend the knee and rotate the hip out and really get a nice stretch through your hip flexor. Shoulders are still level. Rotating that right hip nice and high to the ceiling. The leg is still lifting up. 2 more breaths. This pose can be done from your knee as well. 1 more breath. And then extend that leg out. Bring your hips to neutral. Lower your leg down. And we'll take a breather in child's pose. So knees come down. Relax through your arms and your wrists and your shoulders. Any version of child's pose you like. And just check in. Heart rate should be up a little bit from that third version. A lot of muscles working in unison. Requires a lot of oxygen to the body, so the heart rate picks up, the breathing rate picks up. And then let's do the other side. So any of these 3 versions are there for you with downward dog. We're going to bring it back up. Find a good down dog placement. Lift the left leg up. And then draw the knee in towards your chest. Curve your back. Come into plank. So you're looking towards that knee and rounding your back as much as you can. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more repetitions for 5. If you only get 2 and then you need to drop to your knee, that's absolutely fine. Nice deep inhalation. Here's our last one. And then reach that leg up and hold. You can definitely be down on your right knee for this. Absolutely fine if you're feeling too much intensity in your shoulders and your wrists. Now, option to bend your knee. Keep that leg up high. Rotate the left hip up. So we have a little bit of a twist in the spine here, but the shoulders aren't twisting. They're still level to your mat. And drop your right heel way down to the floor. Get a wonderful stretch there for your calf. 2 more breaths. Abs are zipped up. 1 more. And then extend that leg back up. Realign your hips. Lower the leg down. And rest in child's pose. Nicely done. Let that heart rate settle just a bit. And breathe. So we'll come into a forearm plank. So just bring the arms forward, coming onto your elbows. And whenever we do a forearm plank, we don't want our elbows to be out too wide because then the position of our shoulder is compromised. So bring your elbows in nice and close. They should be the same width as your shoulders are. You can clasp your fingers, walk your knees back behind you or your toes, and try to find a really nice level plank. So this is nice for you to sometimes maybe do in a mirror because oftentimes we don't realize that our bum is way up in the air and we're doing our plank like this, or that our back is sagging and we have no connection with our abdominals. So we've been doing 1-minute planks for our spring challenge. So next time you do your plank at home, see if you can get yourself in front of a mirror and then just check and see that you're level. And then we're breathing. Nice level head position as well. Sometimes when we get tired here, the head just starts to drop. So use the muscles of the upper back and the back of the neck, and let's take 3 more breaths. Connect with that deep transverse abdominis, bracing the core. 1 more breath. And then drop your knees down if you're on your toes. Walk back to a child's pose. We are also going to hold a side plank on each side, and there's many variations of side plank. So for today, I'm going to take the elbow version again. So we can come back down on the elbows, and then take your right arm and rotate it in. So I'm making a 90-degree angle. Then roll over onto your right knee and reach that left arm up. So this is the option from the knee. You can also do this from your toes. So if you're up here on your toes, roll over and extend up. And we're just here maybe about 30 seconds. Wherever you need to be, you can take that knee option. You can also come up to your wrist instead of the elbow. 10 seconds. And 1 more deep breath. And then rotate back over. If you're on your toes, let your knees come down. Come back to your child's pose, relaxing those shoulders. Either extended child or bring your arms next to the sides of your body. Okay, let's try it on the left arm. It could be a weaker side, so maybe you're on your knee on this one instead of on the toes. Just do what is best for you. The left forearm rotates in, either down on the knees or toes. Extend up and hold that side plank. Now this arm doesn't have to be up if that feels uncomfortable. You can bring it right here on your hip. Knee can come down. If you're on your knee, you can also lift this leg up, which is a nice addition, a nice option. And we have 10 seconds. And 1 more deep breath. And then we'll rotate back over and take 1 more child's pose. Ooh, we feel that work in our shoulders, building strength through stabilization of those muscles rather than through movement. Okay, we're moving into some back strengthening. So bring yourself forward onto your belly, coming all the way down. And then I like to have a little bit of something to go underneath my forehead here. So I have my blanket, and it's maybe 2 to 3 inches up, a couple of inches. So that way when I put my head straight, I have room to breathe in and out through my nose. I don't have to turn my head sideways, and I don't have to put my arms up underneath my forehead. So we're going to come from this position. My palms are up next to the side of the body, and keeping your hands on the mat and your head neutral, use your back muscles just to lift your chest up a few inches away from the floor. And then lower down. Now, as we do these repetitions, you're only coming up as high as you can with the strength of your back. So I'm not pushing myself up by using my arm strength. And my legs are really active. Mine are about hips distance apart, but you can bring them a little wider or a little closer together. Even touching if you like that. And this is a variation of locust. Let's take 2 more, nice and slow. Lift and lower. And 1 more. And lowering down. Now reach the arms out in front of you so I'm in my Superman position. My arms are up, I still have my head neutral. Lift your right leg up with a straight leg, and your left arm lifts, and your body comes up a bit. And then lower down. Left leg lifts, right arm lifts, body lifts up. And then you can put it all together so you're moving simultaneously. Opposite arm, leg, and chest lifts and lowers. Lift. This is called the Contralateral Raise, and one of the best exercises out there to really strengthen the back muscles. When we lift opposite arm and leg, we're strengthening on a diagonal connection from the right to the left side, from the upper to the lower. Now the head doesn't really lift up a whole bunch, so you don't want to look forward and pinch the back of your neck. So keep the back of the neck long. The forehead is still pretty much facing down towards the floor. And we're strengthening our glutes here as well. Hamstrings, 1 more on each side. And then relax. Bring your arms back next to the sides of your body. And breathe. Now, a wonderful neck stretch is to lay on your stomach and to turn your head one direction. So I'm going to turn my head to the left so that my right side of my face is down onto my cushion. I still have plenty of space to breathe. And what I also like about putting my forehead on a little bit of a lift is my jaw isn't compromised and pressing into the floor. So I can freely move my jaw and just relax the neck. Just a couple more breaths here. Shoulders are relaxed. Belly is softened. And then let's see how the other side feels in comparison. So lift your head up, come back to neutral. Turn your head to the other direction. Set the side of your head down and then just relax here. Sometimes you can feel a big difference from one side to the other, especially if maybe you slept a little wrong and you have a kink in your neck. Just this nice passive range of motion for the neck. And this is one of those poses, if you have time to be in this for maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes on one side and then the other, it's really beneficial, a nice passive restorative neck release. But for today, let's just take one more breath here. And then bring the chest up a little bit to turn the head back to neutral. And now bring your arms around so that you have your elbows on the floor and your forehead is resting on the back of your hands here. They're stacked. So I want you to keep your left elbow connected with the mat. Lift your right elbow up and you're rotating. And then come back down. Keep your right elbow on the floor. Your left elbow comes up. Rotate. Now, as you do this from side to side, you might not come up very high, which is okay, but keep both of your frontal hip bones down. So you're not actually rolling over onto one side of your pelvis. You're staying really neutral here for this movement. Another great back strengthener here for the posterior core and obliques. Let's do one more on each side. And then when we come back to center, just relax, keep your head down, and try to lift both legs up away from the mat. And we're not doing that by bending our knees. We're doing that by keeping our legs straight and just lifting up from the glutes and then lower down. And lift both legs, squeeze the butt, and lower. So you can just stay here with legs only, or keeping the backs of the hands on your forehead, lift your legs and your upper body away from the mat and lower down. Good. Sometimes that frontal pubic bone is a little bit sensitive into your sticky mat. If you're feeling that, you can place a little padding underneath the front of the hips. Let's come up twice more. And one more. And then as we come down, slide the palms underneath the shoulders, press yourself up. And then our counter stretch is a cat. So walk your knees in, curve your spine, and hold cat stretch for 5 breaths. So you might be feeling just a little bit of tightness right in that lumbar spine from coming up into those back bends. So let's ease that tension away from the area by curving our vertebrae the opposite direction. And then once you get that 5th exhalation, allow your spine to come back to neutral. And then we'll transition to seated. If you have a sensitive tailbone, bring your cushion underneath your seat. And then just sit nice and tall. So one of the poses that we see for our core a lot in yoga is Navasana, boat pose. And there's many options that we can take for boat. So first option is just to keep your feet on the floor and just to lean your body back a little bit. And we aren't going to curve our spine. We've been doing quite a bit of that curving. I'd like you to find a neutral spine with a straight back and check in to make sure that your shoulder blades aren't hunching up. So arms are just relaxed, maybe palms rotating up. Our next option is to hold behind the legs and see if you can lift your feet a little bit up off the floor. And I'm using my arms to help with this movement. If that's too much, you can lift one leg for a couple of breaths, set it down, and then lift the other leg for a couple of breaths. If you're doing good in this position, let go of the legs and reach your arms back out. Then recheck in and make sure that you haven't lost that good neutral spine. And we're not arching our back here either. So if you're starting to feel this in your low back, then really zip up and brace your core. Another little hint, if you're feeling this in your low back or your hip flexors, is to cross your ankles and open your knees out. So I'm doing a little bit of a Baddha Konasana by releasing my hips out. So wherever you're at, let's take 2 more breaths. One more breath. And let's go ahead and come into Baddha Konasana so the feet come together, the knees open, and then stretch through the center. Another nice lower back release. A little bit of an inner thigh release. Relax your head, neck, and shoulders. And then we're going to be moving into dynamic rotation of the spine for strengthening the obliques. So we're down onto our backs. And you can use your cushion for your head if you'd like. And then we'll bring those knees up to table. Now, if it's difficult for you even to hold table, then this next pose is going to be very difficult for you to stay with it. So if you need to, one foot is down on the ground as you hold this tabletop. Really brace your abs. And then you can switch for a couple more breaths. So our goal here is to keep our knees over our hips. If the knees start to come in like this, we've lost our tabletop. It looks more like happy baby. So we want to bring those knees over and then anchor your arms out into goalpost or like a T. And then just open your right knee out. Bring it back in. Open your left knee out. And bring it in. So this may be one you want to stay with for a few repetitions. Just giving yourself a nice inner thigh stretch while you're working on core stabilization. Next option up is to keep your knees together and drop both of your knees about halfway to the floor. You want your left shoulder blade to stay on the mat. And then use your core to bring them back up. And then drop your knees to the left. Now, if this is still not doable for you to stay in table, put your feet on the ground, drop both knees over to the right, pull them back up, and drop both knees over to the left. So this is a great option to do if you're really struggling with holding your tabletop. So many variations. Take 2 more repetitions each direction. If you want to make it more intense, you can straighten your legs up a little bit more and take straight legs over and up, or a little bit of bend in your knees. And 1 more each side. And then release from your tabletop. Another variation of boat pose or Navasana is called low boat. So we actually do it from laying down rather than seated. So with low boat pose, we're going to take the legs up like we're in legs up the wall. Now you can also grab your yoga strap and hold your hands here and hold your feet up with that strap. It's a great option. If you don't have your strap, we reach the hands up and then curl the upper body up like we're going to reach to the feet. We're curving our belly like a hollowed out canoe, like a boat. And then we start to lower the legs down and the arms go along with it. So legs are lowering, arms are lowering. Any amount, when your low back says, "Oop, that's good," we hold here. Now you can bend your knees too, any amount. So this is our low boat. And let's breathe. 5 breaths. Maybe the legs can come down a little more. Maybe the upper body can come up a little more. 3 more. And 2. Try to press that low back down into the mat. 1 more breath. And try not to just bail. Let's come back up, 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 until the fingertips are reaching towards those feet. And then the upper body lowers down and the legs find the mat. Fantastic. Okay, hip bridge. So we have the feet hips distance apart. Tuck your tailbone in underneath you, do a little bit of a pelvic tilt, and then roll up to bridge. And let's hold your bridge. Now, if your bridge is really high up, you probably don't want to have any extra elevation behind your head because that's going to force your chin too much towards your chest. And I like to have some space here so that the front of the neck is long. And squeeze the buttocks. Feel the backs of the legs working. And breathe. 3 more breaths. Maybe those hips can come up a little bit more, or you can lace the hands behind your back to get a little bit more lift up and open the chest. 2 more breaths. And last breath in. And then as you exhale, separate those hands, roll down 1 vertebra at a time until your spine comes all the way down and shift back to neutral. Our right knee comes up to tabletop. The right arm opens out to the side. The left hand cradles the back of the head with the elbow open. Rotate elbow to knee, curve your spine just like we did in Spinal Balance. And then as you come out, extend your right leg out to about 45 degrees, bracing your abs. Exhale, come across. Inhale to extend. Working those oblique muscles, rectus abdominis and transverse. So a lot of the core muscles firing here. And make sure you're not pulling on your neck. And 3 more repetitions. And it's almost like we're leading with the opposite shoulder to come across rather than the elbow. If we pull the elbow across, then we might be pulling on the neck. 2 more. And last one. And relax. Extend that leg up, give yourself a nice hamstring stretch. You can use your yoga strap under the bottom of your foot. Bottom leg can straighten and hold. Excellent. Release that side and we'll work on our core the other direction. So left knee is in tabletop. Left arm is out to the side, right hand cradles the back of the neck, elbow is open. Inhale as we prepare. Exhale, bring that shoulder across, the knee can come in. And then as we extend out, press through your heel, lowering that leg to about 45. Now if you're feeling your lower back lifting when you're here in this position, then your leg needs to be a little bit higher, which is absolutely fine. You've got a nice range of movement here where you can lengthen that leg out into any position or vary it a little bit. Try some different levels with that leg and see how it feels for you. And the right leg is active. I want you to feel this leg here working and bracing. 3 more repetitions. And 2. Last one. And then lift that leg up. Hamstring stretch. Maybe you use that yoga strap to create more length, and the opposite leg can lower down to the floor. Slow down your breath. And then release that leg. We'll come up to a seated position, so you can either roll over onto your side, or you can grab behind your legs and roll like a ball a couple of times until you can come all the way up. Go ahead, find a nice comfortable seat. 1 more Baddha Konasana, just to release those lower back muscles, fold through the middle. And then we'll be using our yoga strap for a seated hamstring stretch, lengthening the backs of the legs. So keep the right knee bent, take the left leg extended out. If you have your yoga strap, we're going to loop that underneath the ball of the foot rather than the arch and pull back. Now keep your spine nice and tall as you hinge forward. If you have the flexibility and don't need the strap, you can lace your fingertips behind the bottom of the foot and pull that leg into, or the ankle into dorsiflexion. And just 2 more breaths here. And then walk yourself back up. Same side again. Option this time is to take this leg and fold it across for half cow face. Now if that doesn't feel comfortable, go back to your seated tree. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale, fold forward, either using your yoga strap or your fingertips, or hands can just be on the mat here on either side of your leg. Fold forward and hold. Notice where you're feeling the stretch. Left hamstring, right hip, possibly your lower back. And again, really listen to your body. Make sure this is a comfortable stretch for you. And then let's walk back up. Third stretch on this side. We'll bring this foot maybe about a fist distance away from your other thigh so that you can reach through the middle. So we'll stretch up here. This knee stays close to your shoulder, or you can wrap behind your back and take a bind. If you can't clasp your fingers, your yoga strap is a wonderful way to get your arms to connect behind your body. And you can also add a little bit of a twist with this one, opening out towards the left side. One more breath. And if you have the bind, release that and come all the way up. Both legs go to straight with one forward bend. Inhale, exhale, just one breath. Inhale, back up, and exhale down. We've got those 3 stretches on the other side. So your left knee bends in, sole of the foot comes to the inner thigh. Sometimes it feels nice to have some support here on this knee. If it's really hanging up, you might want to place a little block under there, a little cushion. Take a breath in, stretch up, and fold. They're using that yoga strap to create length for your arms and to be able to pull your foot into dorsiflexion. That's really going to stretch through your calf muscle and all along that posterior chain. Now, if you're pretty tight in your hamstring, it's okay if you're just really up here and you're feeling a great stretch. You don't have to come all the way forward. It's wherever your body is today in this moment. All right, let's inhale, reach back up. And exhale. Second stretch involves our half cow face. So we can bring that leg across if that feels comfortable. If it doesn't, you're back here outside. Inhale, stretch. Exhale and fold. And just maybe notice any differences from the right to left side of your body here in this stretch. And many times we have them. Our bodies are not symmetrical. Just because activities of daily living, we tend to do more on one side than on the other of our body. All right, let's inhale, bring it up. Exhale down. Our third stretch, we bring this foot to the outside of the thigh. Give yourself some space here so you have room to reach forward. So this is a great one to use your yoga strap. Stretch up, reach that hand across, and try not to let this knee open. We have it pressed in. Or we wrap this arm around, take a bind, either fold forward or twist open to the right. And just one more breath here. Releasing the bind if you have it. Stretching those arms up and down. And then both legs forward one more time. This time we'll hold our Paschimottanasana several breaths. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Use that yoga strap if you need it. And let's take 5 breaths here. Letting go of any tension you're still carrying in those muscles. The breath is slow and full and complete. And then inhale, reach up. As you exhale, let your hands come behind you a little bit and maybe they find the floor, or you can interlace your hands behind your back, or you can take your yoga strap behind you and stretch through the chest muscles. So one more neck stretch. Right ear, right shoulder. Chin to the chest. Left ear, left shoulder. And head neutral, reverse. And come center, release that stretch. And today we are going to close our practice where we began. So come up back into your mountain pose where we started. Either feet tight together or hips distance apart. Lengthen those arms by your side. Eyes can be closed. Just check in and notice the contrast. The contrast from where you began 60 minutes ago to where you are now. The contrast between the right side and the left side of your body. Contrast between the front and the back, the top and the bottom, the contrast between the muscles of the core, the front side, and the back. And we'll take 3 breaths together. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Make your gaze up to your fingertips. Exhale, push the palms out. 2 more. Either exhaling through the nose or the mouth. And 1 more breath. Palms come to the heart. It is my honor and pleasure to lead and guide you through your practice today. And the light that resides within me honors the light in each of you. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. If you need to scoot, I'll see you next time, tomorrow in Aging Strong. Otherwise, stay for a second. We'll chat and see how your workout felt for you today.
Recording has stopped.